Hey Flosstube, it's Sam from Stitch Again Sam. It has been about 4 months since I've been here. Today is November 6th, 2023. I hope that people still appreciate that, like, when I am able to, I do come on and try to update everyone, even though it's not regularly. This is round 2 of trying to do this video. I don't even want to talk about what just happened with round 1 because it's going to make me sad. And I only have about probably 20 minutes before people start getting home, and then this is just not going to happen again. So we're going to focus on the stitching, and we're going to try to talk about it all and get it in, and that's it. So life update part, I'm not going to even do that I had in the first video. Everybody's fine. Oh, bless you. That was the dog sneezing. Everybody's fine. We're all good. As good as anybody can be right now. We're good. That's fine. So that's all we're going to say about that. So what we're going to do today, or what I'm going to do today, is kind of go through whips, some finishes, which it's been 4 months, so I have kind of a stack of those, and then a little bit of an update on where I stand as far as my whip go board and like plans for the year and how we're going to like finish out the rest of the year. So let's start with whips. So these are anything that I have worked on since last we met. And the first one is Under the Sea. This is a frosted pumpkin. It was a sale, I believe, in 2022. I am not doing the whole thing. If you're familiar with this pattern, it says Under the Sea at the bottom. There's sort of a border that goes around. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just doing the center. So I'm relatively close to a finish on this. This falls into the category of things that I started because I was like, oh, that's real cute, but I really don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And so I am trying to be more mindful of that when I choose what I'm gonna be stitching. Like, what am I gonna do with it? Where am I gonna put it? How am I gonna display it? Like, let's think through these things and not just do this. This will probably go in my oldest daughter's bedroom. She's got kind of a beachy theme going on in there. So she's gonna have to take one for the team and let this one. And this is just on like a 14 count fabric that you can buy at like Michael's. It's in the tubes, and it's just got it printed like kind of this blue green. I think you can sort of see modeled pattern on it. To me, it's perfect for something like this. I'm not sure if you did the whole border, if it would have fit on this piece, but since I knew I wasn't, it was okay. So that is that. Whip number 2. This was also a stitch along. I believe started by Shiloh at X Stitch MD, I think, or she was at least participating in it because I think that's where I found out about it. So it's the Strawberry Fields Forever pattern from Blackbird. I have most of the patterns from this Magical Mystery Tour series that I would like to stitch at some point. However, and if you are like a Blackbird purist, you might want to avert your eyes. I'm changing the colors and kind of brightening them up a little bit. So I am stitching this on, this is 32 count Icelandic blue linen. And I'm brightening up all the colors from like kind of deeper reds and more muted greens to a little bit brighter pinks and greens. I will share, once I'm done with this, I'll share kind of, I don't know, like if you're dying to know what colors I'm using of threads, send me a message and I'll let you know. But since I'm not done, I mean, I like what I have so far, so I'm gonna probably stick with those colors, but, and because I'm in a bit of a time crunch, we're not gonna go through all the details of the colors today, but I will eventually share that information. So that is number 2. Whip number 3 is, this is a whole series. This is the last one I have. It is a wrinkled mess because it is my very active whip right now. And this is an Emma Condon pattern. They were originally published in just Crossstitcher magazine, but they are all now available in her Etsy shop, Stitchrovia. And I have just one more row of this to do, along with the title at the top. So this one is for sure gonna get done. And this wasn't really on my whip go board. It was just I wanted to finish out this series during the year. So that will happen. And my favorite, I'm still gonna take the time to show you this, is this little, I pick a favorite square on every one of these. It's this little tractor. It's like a little tiny tractor that is like plowing the rows of dirt. I don't know. That's my favorite. All right, and this is just a inexpensive 16 count weight Ada that's on. And then my last whip is this Mhill kit. Conch Shell is the name of it. And so this is on perforated paper. I'm just using all the kit goodies for this. And that is as far as I got. I started this one while I was on a craft sort of retreat during the summer. Haven't really picked that one up again yet though, but I will. So that is, okay, so that's all the whips that we've worked on. Finishes. Okay, here we go. Love the Nurge hoops, by the way. If you haven't tried them and you like a hoop, a tight hoop, I recommend. All right, finishes. So this was a series that I really was trying to just finish out. It was a monthly series. Crochet Agogo on Etsy is the, oh, it's got a wrinkle and I had ironed that one. Is the designer. Time Window is the name of the pattern. So I just had 2 left. I had June, which is done. I think I changed a little bit of the pattern with the strawberries up there, if I remember correctly, but nothing too crazy. And the other that I had left was, hold on, February. So I feel like the colors are showing, oh, that's better. Yeah, they're a little dull when I was close to there. That's pretty close in color. That was a really fun series. And like this fabric I have with it is just, I had picked fabrics of each of these to kind of use either as like a pillow backing if I decide to do that, or flat fold backing, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do to finish those yet, but whatever I do, I'll probably need some fabric. Okay, then this year's current series of monthlies that I was working on was the Hands-On Design Season 2, A Year of Celebration Continues. And my goal was to finish each of these in its month. So the last one that you saw from me was June. So I have, dog is very sneezy. I have July. And I did make a change in the original pattern. There were squares up here that I think maybe were supposed to represent quilts or quilt blocks or something. And I would think that might make sense if she was trying to make that more universal for people outside of the US rather than putting a flag. But since I am in the US, I decided to replace those with some little flag designs that I pulled from another pattern that I had. I mean, and really it's pretty simple. So I think you could figure out how to make that. So that was July. I have August, which is my favorite. And if you've been around and you know how much I like the beach, that won't surprise you. With little seagulls and crabs and fish and whatnot. So that is that one. And the color, these are all on, I think, I don't remember now. I think it's 32 count mushroom Lugana. And the colors are kind of a mix of some of the called for, some of the color conversion that Fat Quarter Shop did, and some that like I just picked because I liked something better. I think I have September done. I assume those are supposed to be sunflowers. Again, I feel like when I get right to about here, the color gets more right, but then I don't know that you can see the detail of it. But then I don't know if you really care if you see the detail of it. And then finally, I have October done. The original pattern had a line of like jack-o'-lantern faces going through the pumpkin, but I chose to leave those off and just make it the pumpkin. I thought about going back and adding some little, all these little like doodads that are around it, continuing that down here, but I probably won't. So all I have left is November and December, and I will do those in November and December. And then, okay, this is a big one. Get ready. Because if you've been here since the beginning, you've seen it every time. And that is the Dimensions Christmas on the Beach Is this the last time? Well, I mean, maybe if I like actually frame it, you'll see it again, but oh, it's done. Now, I did not choose to do all of the back stitch. Those Adirondack chairs were like totally back stitched, and you guys, I just couldn't figure it out, and I was just so done with this. So I only back stitched around these gifts and a little bit on the ornaments, things where you just kind of needed it or it looked like a blob. And then I called it done. There were a bunch of French knots and whatnot in the sand. No, we just said no. And like we talked about this in my last video, and people very kindly left comments about like, no, it looks fine. Just do whatever. Don't worry about it. So I'm not worrying about it. This one was I jumped on the bandwagon with everyone else. So this is a start and a finish. You've not ever seen this, but it is the Create Everyday pattern. That is a free pattern on, I think Fat Quarter Shop, but it's a Teresa Kogut pattern. And so I did this on 18 count pale gray gingham. I had ordered pale gray gingham fabric from Fat Quarter Shop because Kimberly uses it a lot. And I thought that is might be a good, I stitch a lot of things on white Aida that might liven it up a little bit, like let's give it a try. But they sent me 18 count. So they very nicely sent me the 16 count, but just let me keep the 18 count. So I did this over 2 threads over 1 square. It looks fine. But I'm trying to figure out how I feel about the 1836 count, 1 thread or 2. What do you do? Because depending on, I almost feel like it depends on the pattern, like what actually works the best for that. Like this, I felt like I wanted it to be really solid. So I did 2. Other things, I think I have something later that I did stitch over 1 and it was fine. Also, so I don't know. I like to have a definitive answer, so I don't like having to guess about that. All right, the next item that I finished was 2 Pumpkin Sprite. This is a Liz Matthews pattern. This is one that was on my Whip Go board, but through the October Whip Go pulls had not been called. And I'm like, well, listen, it's October. If I don't stitch this now, I'm not gonna wanna do it in November or December if it gets called then. So I sort of let it jump the line a little bit and stitched it in October. And this was on a remnant piece of 46 count linen that I bought from one of my LNS's. Love it. I don't know what this linen is, but I need more of it in my life. So I need to find that out. I obviously did this with 1 thread. Most of it was called for cotton threads. And I think that's fine. I think there are some people that once you get up to 46, they go with the like 103s that maybe are a little thinner, I think, but I think this is fine. It's just fine. I like it just fine. I did leave out, there were more of these little black dots that you see kind of in my corners all around here. This is another, I'm taking the license of saying, I don't really want all those little dots. I don't want to deal with it. So we left those out. And I have a finishing piece in mind for this. I hope it looks smaller than I thought it was, and it looks more square than I expected it to. So hopefully the thing I have in mind for that works, but if not, we'll find something else, right? Okay, now we have, this is another start and finish situation. This is called Red, White, and Beach, and it's a Lizzie Kate pattern. So I think you can still get this, and I probably got it from 123 Stitch, because that's who has it, or if your LNS has like an old stock of Lizzie Kate stuff. I did this pattern. The only thing I changed was, you'll see there's this little, let's see if that's focusing. It looks like a chain pattern, that teal. I liked the wave that was down here in this one, so they were about the same size, so I just switched them out. And I kind of just used, this is on a piece, this is the other thing that's on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha on the plain, not modeled side. And I did kind of just whatever colors I had. It's looking dull. That looks a little better. The color looks right there, but as I bring it forward, it looks a little bit, oops, sorry, duller. So it's kind of just whatever colors. But if you have a question about it, let me know and I will tell you. I think I'm gonna maybe try to make a little pillow out of him, but this I did one thread. And you know what? It looks good too. So again, but there's not as much other than the little whale. There's not a lot of solidness to this, but the whale looks fine with one thread. I don't know. Figure that out. Okay. Okay. Two more things. We have this little ornament. I had the stitching done for this. This is a Zuma Street ornament. For this one was a couple years old. So I really just had to finish the beading. I'm like, this is my face. I really just had to, that's weird. I had to just finish the beading. And for this, I just bought the PDF patterns and bought perforated paper and the DMC to do it. So I just went to, hi buddy, don't eat my stuff. He doesn't do that. He's a good boy. He wouldn't do that. But I just bought beads like from Joann's, and I will tell you that there's a very distinctive difference between a Mhill bead and a Joann Fabrics like off the shelf bead. They're just not, like these just aren't consistent. So it's mostly these little beads around his eyes. I might take them out and redo them. I also might just lesson learned, and you know, for the future ones, I'll buy some beads that are nicer. And he does that like slide down and his like feet go out straight. He's laying like Superman over there. Okay, so there's that. And then I finished this little Mhill. This is a Mhill kit. This little flamingo. It came to make it a magnet, but I'm gonna just make him an ornament. These little legs, oh, they were like kind of a real pain. I wouldn't, like the beading was easier than I expected it to be, like on the actual paper part, but those legs were kind of a bitch. So I would not recommend, if this is like your first beading thing, maybe this is not the way to go, but it was fun. And I definitely want to do some more Mhill, partly because I had fun with this one, but also because I'm going to insert a little like plug for a Flosstuber that I found recently. I think she's kind of, like she's really good. She's a great, great personality. So I think, to me, I mean, we all have our own, like that's a very personal thing, but for me and the kind of Flosstubers that I like to watch, she's a very good fit. Her name is Audrey. I believe it's pronounced Marine, but it's not spelled like that. So if you search for Stitch Bead, that's her name on Instagram, and I searched for that on YouTube and found her that way on YouTube also, even though it's not her channel name. She did a lot of Mhill kits, like that's what she used to always do, and she still shares a lot of Mhill stuff. But you know, she's also doing a lot of reproduction samplers and other little things. I don't know. She just has a really good, fun personality. And her son, Morris, who is 9, also stitches. Like he's not in the videos or anything, but the stories about Morris, like that alone is like worth the price of admission. Because every like middle to older age woman just wants to like meet Morris and just squeeze him because he sounds so cute. Okay, so anyway, check out Stitch Bead / Audrey Marin. It's a great channel. So anyway, that's that. Okay, so that's all the finishes. Now I'm gonna quickly talk about, where am I at? Okay, 18 minutes, we should be good. Some of the things that I have decided to retire. And one of them is this pattern. It's from the Cross Stitch for the Earth book. I would call it the Great Outdoors. I started this as part of a sale. I believe it was Kaylee Cross Stitch that started it, because I had done what I would consider the companion piece to this, because they're the exact same size. I did this one. This one is already framed and displayed in my office at work, and I love it. But I like this one better because there's no words on it. This one is many, many words. And I know how much of a commitment this is going to be to stitch. It's a lot. I mean, it's basically almost full coverage. And I don't love it. Like, I like it, but I don't love it. And my original thought was they'd be cute to display together, but the way I have the one I already have completed displayed, it doesn't need a friend. So it was just on 16 count Aida. I don't have that much, I didn't even really have that much of it done. It was just like that little Great Outdoors part. Like, I'm not gonna immediately use this piece of fabric because there's nothing really special about it. But if there's a point where I need some plain 16 count white Aida, I'll use it. If I decide someday to go back to it, I mean, I guess I can, but I'm not worried about it. Oh my God. So the dog is coming over and he steals shoes. My daughter must have left her bedroom door open. He's gonna stand here and like want me to try to chase him around to get this stupid shoe. Yeah, I'm not playing with the shoe right now. Let me see if I can, we're gonna do this. Don't pay attention. I don't know how messy my house is, but I'm gonna show you right now. So he's just gonna like wander around with this shoe and try to, oh, he has a sock there too. He must've got a sock while I was, oh my God. This dog, and anything that smells like feet, this dog can't control himself. Okay. Next in the retirement, he won't eat the shoe, so it's fine. I don't have to get up and do that. He'll pretend like he's gonna eat the shoe, but he won't. Okay, this is I'm gonna probably restart it. So there's an Etsy shop. I'll try to remember to put a link to what it is because I don't remember what it's called right now, but they have all these patterns that are like little miniature versions of like great works of art. And I think it'd be really cute to have a couple of those framed together. And so I started with, can you guess it? Starry Night. But then I realized there are two versions of some of the probably maybe more popular ones. So this one is like, it would be bigger, like in stitch count size, it would be bigger and it has more detail in it. The other one is it's smaller, has less detail, but that's what most of them are, is the smaller, less detail version. And I want them to go together. So I kind of feel like this wasn't the right one to do. And I did this on 22 count over 1 to make it tiny. So I'm debating about this. I think I'm gonna restart it with the other pattern so that it like goes. I think what I'm going to do is pick a different one, stitch it, and then see how it like looks with this, what I have so far, and decide. But I wasn't gonna stitch anymore on this, even though it was on my WhipGo board. So he's like sort of a semi-retired, waiting in the wings to decide what to do with him. It's like the backup quarterback of, I don't know, whatever. Then we have this. Okay, I'm gonna just show you this because it's on the front cover and I don't feel like digging around for it. This is the June 2021 issue of Crossstitcher magazine, and I had started this little pattern that is, it's called the Write, W-R-I-T-E stuff, Emma Congdon, and it's cute. I'm not a writer, but it's still cute. And mostly I just like this little plant. But again, it's kind of one of those, it's really stitch heavy. I don't have that much done. Like, okay, I started this on Monaco, which is about the stiffest thing ever. All I have is like, this is part of that ruler. And again, this is like, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm not gonna do anything with this fabric because I don't know how much I really liked even stitching on that. But I'm gonna hit the heavy pause on this one and decide if I want to. I thought about maybe just stitching the plant and just having the little plant. That is still a strong possibility, much more than me stitching this whole flipping typewriter. I don't even know if I like it. So we'll figure it out, but he's not an active whip anymore. I also chose to retire. I had a very, very tiny start on the Frosted Pumpkin. This is their National Parks thing. Again, this was like it's cute, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. So that's like a hard pass. I'll always have the PDF pattern if something makes me wanna do it, but I'm not gonna worry about it. And then the last retirement / potential restart. This is a definite, we'll definitely restart this. But it's Halloween Cat from Satsuma Street. Love the pattern. Love everything about this. What I don't love is the fabric I chose to stitch this on, which I think I've talked about before. It's a Weeks fabric. It's Peoria Purple or something. And I hate it. I literally hate stitching on it, even in a hoop. I mean, it's nice and tight in a hoop. My stitches, I don't know how close I can get this if you can tell, but my stitches look a mess. It just does not make me happy to stitch on this. So as much as stitching is done there, compared to the whole pattern, it's like nothing. So we need new fabric. If you have a good suggestion, because I do like this purple color, I would almost like to do this on a high count. Like I want to try like a 20 count Aida. So if you have any suggestions on a purple fabric that you think that might look good on, my local stores don't really have anything that I can see in person, and I'm always a little leery to order that online. But any suggestions are welcome. So those are the retirements. Okay, so what are we going to do for the remaining? I do that all the time. I say we. It's me. It's me. Hi, I'm the pro. Okay, we went and saw the Taylor Swift movie. Sorry, I bumped that. The Taylor Swift movie this past weekend. It was good. I'm a fan, so I enjoyed it. It was fun. Made me wish that we would have tried harder to get tickets, but we are going to see Pink on Wednesday, so I'm pretty excited about that one. And then my husband is going to Detroit this weekend to see Metallica, so it's like a heavy music month in our family. Okay, so plans for the remainder of the year. Number one, first priority, finish the Colors of Autumn that is close. Number two, when I look at my WipGo board, once I take off all those things that I just showed you that I'm retiring off of it, I basically have only one real whip left on it. And that is this Be Kind to All That Live, which is another Emma Condon pattern, also from the Cross Stitch for the Earth book. And this is relatively close. Like there's just a border of like animals and whatnot and stuff around here. I like stitching the letters on these. That's what is fun. And so I did that first, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm gonna do the rest of this, but it's close and I like it. And I feel like the colors are sort of fallish, so it fits. So I might try to stitch that and finish it and take what I thought. Okay, so it's one of two things. I think I'm gonna at least get my 5 days to meet what was my original goal for this, my 5 days might be enough to finish it. I don't know. Or take this approach of, I'll call it like the Dave Ramsey approach to whips, meaning, and I'm not saying yay or nay to his philosophies. It's just this, I know this is how he operates, right? So you take all your debt, AKA your whips, and you take the smallest one that you can get paid off the quickest, and you pay that one off. And then you pay, and so you get like that mental win of like, I did it, rather than worrying about what interest rates are or whatever, right? So with whips, to me, it's like, okay, let's spend the rest of this year taking whips and saying, okay, whatever one I can finish the quickest, let's just finish it and see how many I could actually get done. It's not going to be that many, like, because once I get past the first one I said and this one, there's not a lot left that are like, oh, that one's close, but I don't know, whatever, maybe one more. So that's one option. The second option I thought about was just working on these things until I get to Thanksgiving, and then doing like a Christmas ornament extravaganza for the remainder of the year and stitching a bunch of Christmas ornaments. One of those two things is what I'm gonna probably do. So hopefully you'll come back again and find out which one I actually did. I'm planning on, like, this month I know is very busy. We've got a lot of stuff going on, like I kind of had mentioned. So I don't expect to have a lot of time to do another video until probably at best sometime in December. So I think what I'll do is do a like whip parade, which there probably won't be that much left. I could end up with like 10 to 12 whips at the end of the year. So it'll be a relatively short whip parade, and then a discussion of my plans for 2024 and like what I'm gonna do there would be what would come next. So I think that's all I really have to say. Look at that, we did this in under half an hour. So I really do appreciate everybody that comes and watches these videos and who handles the fact that I am super inconsistent in how often I actually post these, but I appreciate it. Oh, someone might be coming home. This could have been like the best timing ever. So thank you. Enjoy the fall, the remainder of fall and Thanksgiving if you're here in the US, and the Christmas holidays, whatever holidays you celebrate, enjoy them. And hopefully I will see you in December. Thanks, bye.